Honestly, if someone told me 4 months ago that Red Bull would be getting schooled on the track by both McLarens and being unable to overtake fucking Hamilton, I would think that you're talking about some parallel universe that more resembles heaven than real life. Or it could be that you're just describing Paris. That would explain pretty much everything. But holy fucking shit, the Hungarian Grand Prix. What happened, man? It's like they've suddenly turned into an Alpha Tauri and Max has become the new Yuki on the team radio. It's a fucking joke.
Oh mate, don't give me that bullshit now. You guys...
It's childish on the radio. Childish.
But for real, this is now turning into a downwards trend for the RB, and they're quickly deteriorating as we speak. And it's such a fucking sudden and monumental 180 from the trajectory that they've been on for the past 3 years, it's caught me by surprise. It is such a big change that even the world-renowned F1 journalist Nico Rosberg wouldn't be able to explain what has happened. But I think I know the answer. And it's a bit more complex than we'd probably like it to be, but let me just open your eyes for a second, okay? And you will understand. You will fucking understand, mate. So, firstly, Max Verstappen. He's not well, is he? The previously utterly dominant driver, an absolute shark on the grid, is suddenly unable to make it stick on pole or stay within the DRS of the front cars. What the fuck are you talking? Of the cars in front. And aside from just mechanical performance, that boy is gone mentally as well. I swear he's turning into the new Lewis Hamilton at this point, with the amount of complaining he does on the team radio. So much so that his own fucking team, instead of supporting him, told him to shut the fuck up and stop acting childish. Max Verstappen, the guy that was as consistent on the track as the rain is in London. You could probably count the number of mistakes he did all across last year on just one hand. While now, it seems he manages to bugger up every 5 laps or so, and emotionally deflects on the radio at least every 2 laps, I think. There's a clear deterioration in the mental state of the guy, and is soon approaching the likes of Charles Leclerc in 2020. Like, you don't want to go there, man. It's straight to the psych ward from there. Obviously, one of the main reasons for Maxi absolutely losing his marbles is because he's an egomaniac that no longer is able to win every single thing he competes in. Why? Because the car is no longer 10 seconds ahead of the rest of the grid, is it? In fact, the boys in orange seem to have given their mechanical bull a good dose of the good old roids, as they're now actually the number 1 car on the grid, hands down. If only Lando could secure a race win for once, that would be lovely. But it's an observable difference between the RB now and the first few races of the season. And some may address it to the fact that the genius engineer behind the Red Bull is soon departing, but I actually don't agree with that perspective. Well, mainly because what they've been likely having him focus on was already future design. Of course, any future upgrades, even for this year, will be hindered by the fact that they essentially lost the only seemingly capable bloke on the paddock. It wouldn't explain the sudden drop in the current performance. But what I've heard on the grapevine, though, is that there's a different reason. Some team representatives have stated that there was a complaint raised to the FIA on the legitimacy of some of the modifications on the RB, which have since been made illegal and removed, just around the time the Red Bull started eating ass. So, my guess is as good as yours, but I wonder, was Horner being a bit of a naughty boy the past few years? At least this time it's not in a literal sense. Him and the Spice Chick seem to be doing fine. The team itself also seems to not be performing very well when they're under pressure. The 2021 Red Bull team was a well-oiled machine, performing under any circumstances, ready to bite off any piece they were presented with. And this team is not it. The team transformed over the years into a fat slob that was still performing well, but without a necessity to do extraordinary things on the track, as they were comfortably finishing the race by 10 to 20 seconds ahead of everyone else. God, I'm happy that time has passed. And now, having been put again into uncomfortable positions, they just tend to mess up both drivers and the team itself. So maybe, just maybe, those grey hairs on Horner's beard are not just a fashion statement anymore, and instead a sign of a broader transition to pensioner status. Because with the performance of the team now in the constructors, I think it's a one-way ticket to the elderly home for him. And of course, it's all very much tied together. One weakness leading to the other, leading to another. It's like a f***ing house of cards. When one piece falls, you're f***ed, mate. So let's maybe try to trace back where has it all gone sour. That way you could figure out what the main culprit is and fix it before it's too late. Maybe. So, Verstappen's eating ass because he's inherently a fucking child, staying up all night playing video games instead of preparing for a multi-million-dollar race he has in the morning, but largely he's been able to scrape through it before with no issues. His mental health, though, has deteriorated largely because the team is being ineffective. The team is ineffective on the track because the car is suddenly trash. The car is dog shit because it cannot make new upgrades. New upgrades are not coming to the RB because Gandalf the Grey has decided to leave. There are many reasons why the wizard is leaving, but one of them for sure is because he sees low prospects and funding at the RB in the future. The reason for a poor outlook and funding could only be if Red Bull start performing poorly in the constructors. And Red Bull right now is on the verge of losing constructors to McLaren because Perez has scored only 10 points in the past 5 Grand Prix. So it's all down to you. You absolute